I can see both. All right, we're going live here again. We're going to be live quite a bit over the next 72 hours. I am doing a pretty big sale, 95% off a couple of courses. But most importantly, and the reason I'm going live like this is I'm going to try to touch as many people as I can. Try to speak truth to as many individuals as I can in the hopes. Let me try to move that. In the hopes of spreading true financial knowledge and letting people know more about financial planning, more about how to identify what big institutional money is doing, where they're going, when they're going there. But most importantly, and I tell everybody this, is that foundation of financial planning. If you don't have that foundation and you're trying to skip directly to the sexy stuff, directly into the investments and all that, you're going to get burned, absolutely burned. So what I'm going to talk about in this conversation is I've been a financial advisor for 25 years, right? In one capacity or another. I worked for major Wall Street firms for 15 years, well, 13 years. Then I ran my own firm for the next decade. And then I've been running this educational firm here for, I don't know, like 5 years, something like that. So long life in finance. And one of the biggest mistakes I saw, and this is what I want everybody to realize. Some of the biggest mistakes come from the fact that you think you know more because it's your industry, or you're the CFO, or you're the CEO, or you're the COO, or whatever you are. You're a high up in a company. You're a high up in an industry. You've been in that industry for 25 years. Therefore, you know more. Now, in most things in life, that is going to be true, right? So in most things in life, if you are doing something for 15 or 20 years, or you're at the higher echelon of that organization, whatever it is, you are going to be keyed into a bit more information than everybody else in the world about that organization or about that industry. Here's the thing. In finance, investing, non-economics, investing. In investing, that is not only not true, it'll burn you every single time. If you think because you're a high up in that echelon, you've been in the industry longer. So if you're over in crypto, I've been in Bitcoin since 2014. I've been dealing in coins since 2017. I know it does this, and it always works that way. And that's the way it works. And I know because I've been in this for so long. And I work for this major crypto company. Or if it's stocks, oh no. And this is a true story that I'm about to tell you about one of the worst financial mistakes I ever saw. I feel horrible that this happened to a human being, but I'm going to share it with you because I want you to gain knowledge from this story. He was in the pharmaceutical industry. All right. This is San Diego for me. So this has got to be pretty late 2007, mid 2007. Works for a very large pharmaceutical company. I'll just tell you, it's a very large pharmaceutical company out of San Diego. And he was the CFO. Back then, I got 100% of my clients were exclusive to either cold walking or cold calling. Anybody that was a corporate executive you could count was from cold calling. He was a CFO at a pharmaceutical company in San Diego. We talk a little bit. I get a meeting. He comes into the office. I work on B Street in San Diego, Darth Vader building. Anybody can check it out. It was Merrill Lynch. That's where I was at. He comes in. He shows me his portfolio, what he's doing. His financial plan is shoddy at best. It is barely done. It is, I make this much. I want to save this much. I think I'll get to here. His financial plan was shoddy at best, but he did have some pretty significant assets. The guy, between he and his wife, both of them had worked at this pharmaceutical company. They had $1.2 million, or each had 1.2. So their total was $2.4 million. So, in late 2007 or mid 2007, this is substantial. All right. And if you're familiar with what the stock market had done in 2000 and 2004, it fell. And then from 2004 through 2007, it was on the rise. So he was feeling really good. He was at a peak price, I know for a fact, with that company, and very large option holder, right? He made all of the money by choosing options, right? Stock options. So he chose a lot of his pay to be stock options. So he made quite a move financially in that way. And he comes in and we sit down and we're talking. And let me interrupt right there. I want to let everybody know that right now I do have a very big sale going on, if I guess I should call it. It's a sale. It's going on for 72 hours. I was just talking with you about his financial plan. He's the CFO at a pharmaceutical company. Shoddy financial plan at best. Zero foundation to his finances. Wants to talk exclusively about investments. And in a moment, I'm going to share with you how exclusively focusing on your investments will doom you every single time. No matter what you think you know, or what you think you don't know, or what you know about the industry, or whatever it is that you think you know, I assure you, not having a solid foundation, not having a solid financial plan will doom you every single time. Which brings me to what I'm putting up here. That is 25 years worth of knowledge in a financial planning course. Invest Like a Pro. Effectively, what that course is 7.5 hours of video tutorial with me. It's not slideshows with voiceover that's garbage created by AI. It is actually me walking you through. You'll feel like I'm there with you, walking you through the financial planning process. We start with the history of Wall Street. We then get into how to set up a proper financial plan based on how much money you have, how much you plan to save, how much you would like to make, what you're going to structure your life. Hey, look, I'm this age. I have this amount of money. I plan to save this amount of money. I have this amount of money in income. I'd like to retire at this age. I'd like to have this much in income. I'd like that money to last this long. And also, I would like to pass on X amount of money to my kids. All right. That is how specific your plan is going to be. Then, once you get through that, you're going to have plenty of tutorials on what the difference is between a Roth IRA and an IRA, a joint account, a trust account, an individual account. Okay. You're going to learn about the rule of 72, which helps you to identify if you're making 15% a year, you have $200,000, you are 23 years old, and you primarily invest in crypto and in stocks. How much money will you have when you're 65? You'll know exactly how much money you'll have when you're 65. So then it takes you through that. So you go through that. Then you learn how to set up an account, how to place a trade. You are going to learn how to do everything from you know nothing to everything your financial advisor or a financial advisor that works for every major firm will know and would do for you. And they would do that for you at a percentage of your assets. So let's just say you have a small account, $100,000 account at 1%. That's $1,000 a year. I have discounted this course 95%. It is $23. The course is typically $500. It is $23 right now. Why am I doing that? Am I desperate to sell this course? Do I just need to get some of these courses off the shelf? Absolutely not. These courses sell all day at the full price, all day at the full price. So why am I doing it? I'm doing it because I don't want anyone to have an excuse as to why they made a mistake financially that could have been avoided. So if you say, I can't afford to have a financial planner, I accept that. And I believe my account isn't big enough. I'll just get the crappy, low guy on the totem pole. Okay. I understand that too. That makes sense as well. Well, let me tell you this. No one cares about your money the way you care. I worked in those offices for nearly 15 years, and no one cares as much as you do about your own money. And that's what this course is all about. Now, I do have people that hire me to do their financial planning for them. Some of them will buy the course, some won't. They realize they don't have the time. They don't want to spend the time. They're not interested. So that I basically do all the work for them. But if you are a person right now, you're a grandparent that you're going to pass money on to your kids. You're a parent that's going to pass money on to your kids. You're a kid that is going to inherit money. It is absolutely essential that you learn about money. You set up a financial plan. You understand asset allocation. You understand why you put money in certain places and how a plan can protect you. Because here's something interesting for you. How can a financial plan guide your investments? Real quickly, everybody, it's PrometheanInvesting.com. If you're watching me on TikTok, my website is on my profile. The coupon code is PRO96. My Invest Like a Pro course, 95% off. Coupon code PRO96. It makes that course $23. 7.5 hours of video tutorials with me, 70-page workbook, all the software you need to do a Monte Carlo simulated investment plan, learn all about asset allocation, learn all about IRAs, Roth IRAs, individual accounts, trust accounts. It's 25 years worth of knowledge. I typically sell the course every day at $500. I am selling it for $23, 95% off for the next 72 hours because I don't want anyone to have an excuse on why they don't have a solid financial plan. Financial planners are technically looking for the guys that have big accounts because they charge fees based on how much you have in assets. Everyone can afford the 23 bucks. Again, PrometheanInvesting.com. It is the course, Invest Like a Pro. The coupon code is PRO96. So make sure you head over there and get that course. PRO96 is the coupon code. So that is how, so how does a financial plan guide your investments? And I'm going to get back to my story at the high level executive that worked at a pharmaceutical company in San Diego in 2007 in 1 second. So how does it guide your investments? It is really, really simple, and it will make perfect sense to anyone. How it guides your investments. Let me just put this back up. Okay. So how it guides your investments is very simple. When you set up an investment plan, if you set it up using asset allocation or using something that diversifies your assets, let's just say you go 50% stocks and 50% bonds. When stocks are on a tear, meaning they're like crushing it, their price is just going up, 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 up. Traditionally, bonds are going to act inversely. They're going to fall. Now, you want to give yourself time to let your winners run. So I always encourage everybody to rebalance once every 6 months. So every 6 months, you rebalance your portfolio. Now, what does that do? If your stocks are just going gangbusters in price and your bonds are falling in price, typical cycle being a couple of years, as prices rise in stocks, you're selling stocks at high prices and you're buying bonds at low prices. So simply by monitoring your financial plan, you're selling high, you're buying low. It makes perfect sense. So your financial plan doesn't just say, hey, I have X amount of money. I'm going to save X amount of money. I want to have X amount of money when I retire. And I'd like to pass on X amount of money to my children or grandchildren or whomever you're passing money on, whether it's an institution or their charity or whatever it is. You have these goals. It's more than just those goals, because as your investments get out of whack, guess what? It shows up in the financial plan. You rebalance once every 6 months. Now you're selling high and buying low. And that is the easiest way you can ever invest. And guess what? I'm giving you everything you need to do that for $23. PrometheanInvesting.com. PrometheanInvesting.com. Invest like a pro. Pro96 is your coupon code. Pro96 is your coupon code. Invest like a pro is the course. PrometheanInvesting.com. You don't have any excuse not to get over there and do that. It will change your financial life. If you have a financial advisor, great. Shouldn't you know what he's doing and if it's right or wrong? For the cost of $23, I hope you would. And for those of you out there that are younger, you're going, you invest $1,000 or $500. Wouldn't you like to know what it takes to actually achieve your goals? How should you actually invest your money? Because I assure you of this, none of these guys out here telling you they're doing 50% a month or 100% a year are being honest with you. You're just giving your money away, and you'll find that out on your own. So back to the high-level executive, basically the right-hand man to the CEO in a pharmaceutical company in San Diego in 2007. He comes in, he knows a lot. Well-educated guy. I talked about him earlier. Ivy League educated, Oxford educated, comes in. He and his wife, between the two of them, have $2.4 million. Most of that money was made in stock options. Most of their portfolio is in that company's stock. I was not an asset allocation investment manager. I was an active manager, okay? But that does not mean I don't believe in diversifying your assets. I absolutely believe in diversifying your assets. For example, most of my income comes from the stock market. So do you think it's wise for me to invest all of my money, or stock market, crypto market, any investment exchange? That's where most of my working income is derived from. Do you think it's wise for me to pump all of my investment into that source so that every part of my life gets hit at one time if something goes wrong? That's not wise. Just like it's not wise to work at a company and hold a ton of options when you can see that the market's heavy. You can see institutional traders are piling on all of these different stocks. So you see the activity, you see the volume, and here you're sitting, and I'm sitting in front of him, and I said, "Listen, I'm an active manager, and I believe in it, and I know you believe in your company, but holding 25% of your money in your company is still a heavy weight into your company. That's still a ton of concentrated stock in one company, in one industry, right? In one index. I mean, that's as concentrated as it gets, 25%. I lay out a plan for him. At that time, I was doing a ton of sector rotation. I know for a fact we were not into 2008 yet, because in March of 2008, I started telling people that they needed to effectively get out of the stock market. So they needed to hedge all their stock market holdings. And I know I did not tell that with this gentleman. So what I was telling him was it's a sector rotation. Effectively, sector rotation just means like if you have an energy sector, consumer staples, consumer discretionary, industrials, all these different sectors. And sometimes sectors are good to be in and sometimes they're bad to be in. So a rotation, sector rotation simply means I'm rotating in and out of sectors based on my belief of their strength or their weakness. And that's what I was doing at the time. So I was explaining to him how sector rotation will protect him and how that he's made all this money with this company. He and his wife, both, they had about equivalent money. Both of them had about $1.2 million. And I was explaining how that was amazing. Perhaps, we take 75% of the assets out. We go into a sector rotation program. And his wife, I can tell you, and this is typically true from my perspective, that one person, like, she was ready to go right there, right? She was ready to go. And what he wanted to do was he wanted to put all the assets with Merrill Lynch, but he wanted to keep it in that concentrated stock position. And that is something I will not do. I don't work for those firms anymore, but I would not do that back then, because once someone gives you their assets and they tell you, hey, I'm going to keep it in this position, and you know that to be a bad idea. If something happens with that position, if something happens to that portfolio, those people will directly turn around and say that it was your fault. So when we're sitting there in our first meeting, his wife was ready to go, ready to sign. She knew I was right. She knew they had way too much risk on the table. I explained what just a $3 stock move could do to them. I mean, which was nothing for that company. But I said, look, this is what it does to you. And it was hundreds of thousands of dollars. And she could see where that didn't make sense to have that much. But him, nope. All he was comfortable doing was sitting in that stock position and transferring the money over to me. And then we could talk further later about what he should do. I will tell you this. Something I don't do in business is put myself into a bad position, and that was a bad position. And that's why I didn't do it. It wasn't that I was so important. It was that it was putting me it was putting me in a position where I knew I was going to lose. So I said, I'll tell you what, let's have you come back in a couple of weeks, go home, talk to your wife, you two discuss it, come back, and then, we can talk about what to do. He says, perfect. So a couple weeks go by, I give him a call. We set up another meeting. He comes in for the third meeting, or he comes in for the next meeting, which I think it was the third meeting. Because if I'm telling you what I believe you should do, I've already done a portfolio analysis. Although his was really easy, he had one concentrated stock position, but I do believe it was still the third meeting. So they come in. His wife was literally at that time telling him that we need to do this. It's vital that we do this, so on and so forth. And so he still did not want to do it, and he still wanted to transfer the stock over to me. He said, "I trust you. You seem like a knowledgeable guy. You know what you're doing." Yada, yada, yada. I'd like to transfer it over. And it's hard because it's a $2.4 million account. And in that world, in the world of a financial advisor, that's a really, really good account. But it was going to lose. It was destined to lose. He thought his saving grace was that he knew the CEO really well. He was very familiar with the industry. He understood how it worked, all of this kind of stuff. And so he's under this impression he has some knowledge that I don't. And at that time, I didn't really have a reason to believe that he was going to have a decline in his overall value based on anything. It's just that was just way too much risk for one person to have on the table. So he comes back, we do the meeting, and I effectively tell him, no, I'm not taking the account. So he leaves. It was about April of 2008 at this point. And I call him back and I said, we have a stock market, something very big going on in the stock market. AIG, the largest firm, right? The largest insurance firm in the world is about to file for bankruptcy. And I am telling all of my clients to get flat, meaning to get out of the stock market, get out of the bond market, right? And if you're in crypto now, and I said, let's go flat, that would obviously mean hedge your positions in the crypto market as well. And there's a lot of ways you can do this, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean you have to sell to simply get flat in the crypto market. It doesn't mean that at all. All it means is that you're not going to have any upside exposure to that market. You're basically going flat, all right? So I call him and I tell him that, and he proceeds to tell me that he knows what's going on. The CEO has filled him in. And I was telling him, this isn't specific to your company. This isn't specific to your industry. There's something broad going on. It's something global that's about to happen. He proceeds to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about and that his company will be safe and that his company is different, okay? This is something you'll hear a lot as a financial advisor. How different your real estate market is than every other real estate market. How different your company is than its competitor. All these things about how different they are. And I have to tell you, and I want everyone out there to hear me loud and clear. So rarely is that true that I don't even listen to it at all. I would have to find a needle in a haystack to find out the number of times that turned out to be true. It is almost never true. So if you want to bet on almost never, I'll bet on 99.9% of the time. And the same was true here. 99.9% of the time, that's inaccurate. I told him, I said, there's something big happening. I'll contact you, later and we can touch base, whatever. Now, here's the truth of the story. As the financial markets start to collapse in September and October and November of 2008, I honestly didn't think about the guy again. I really didn't. All right, let me pause this story. So concentrated stock positions. How do you avoid that, right? How do you avoid that? Well, the best way to avoid that is to have a proper financial plan. And that's something I've been talking about here quite a bit, having a proper financial plan. Now, what is a proper financial plan? A proper financial plan is where you literally detail your life, where you're at, how much money do you have? How much are you saving? What is your income annually? What do you spend? What are your expenditures? What do you expect to spend? What do you expect to have as far as expenditures in the future? How much money would you like to have for retirement? How much money would you like to leave to your grandkids, et cetera, et cetera? This is your inputs into a financial plan. A good financial plan will run through a Monte Carlo simulation. What is a Monte Carlo simulation? It's very simple. It takes your life and all the things that happen throughout life, right? What children being born, an extra child being born, college expenses, you name it. It mixes up your life into 1,000 different scenarios. Then it takes the stock market's returns, the crypto market's return, the bond market's returns, the commodity market's returns. And you choose like, okay, I'm a balanced investor. I'm a growth investor. I'm a risk investor. And it mixes all those returns up. What it spits out is a probability of success. For me, anything above 80%, I find acceptable. Okay? I find it acceptable to have an 85% success ratio in the markets. I think that's good. So, because it's your life. It's your life's inputs, and it's all of the returns in all of the markets in the world mixed up 1,000 times, and you get a probability analysis, all right? Next thing you have to do in a proper financial plan is you have to establish where your money should be going. Should it be going to a Roth IRA? Should it be going to a regular IRA? Should it be going to an individual account? Should it be going to a joint account, a trust account, a SEP account? Should you have an Indy 401k? Should you max out your 401k? So you'll learn all about that stuff. And then you'll learn about asset allocation, what it is, how it works, how you know where you should fit. Should you be in a balanced model, a risky model, a conservative model, something in the middle? Where do you fit? And then you'll learn how to set up your own account. You'll learn how to place a trade in that account. You'll learn how to rebalance that account. It's a 70-page workbook. It's 7 hours of video tutorials. And it is everything you need to know from I don't know anything to I am doing the exact same work as a financial advisor. Okay? So the exact same work as a financial advisor. So your financial advisor, when you hire him, all those inputs I'm telling you you're going to use, those are the same inputs he'll need to do the plan for you. And then asset allocation, it is so simple. I could teach a 6th grader in 2024 what asset allocation is inside of an hour. And he would know exactly what it is and exactly how to use it. So if you take this course, it's going to take you a few hours to know everything any financial advisor in the world can teach you. All right? Or is going to do for you for that 1% a year fee. As far as financial planning and setting up your asset allocation. As far as that goes, you're going to have it all. All right? You're even going to learn about the history of Wall Street. You're going to learn how and when to rebalance. And that is at a discount of 95%. I am selling that course right now for $23. $23 for 7 hours of video tutorial and a 70-page workbook that you'll have forever with all the software you need and all the instruction you need to set up a proper financial plan and have a proper asset allocation of your assets. That is where you start. You don't skip to the sexy stuff. You don't skip to what investment should I own? What are futures? How do I trade options? How do I trade stocks? What's the video? What's AI? That's the sexy stuff. You're not there yet. And if you're doing that stuff without this foundation, you're going to find out that you are making a monstrous mistake. There are no shortcuts in life. None. There are no shortcuts in life. I can't express that enough. So many people think, I didn't save, so I'll take this shortcut. I didn't do this, so I'll take this shortcut. I didn't put the time in, so I'll take this shortcut. We're all guilty of it. So am I. There are no shortcuts in life. PrometheanInvesting.com. Go to my Invest Like a Pro course. Coupon code PRO96. It takes a $500 course and gives it to you for $23. There is no excuse not to have a proper financial plan, a proper investment plan, and you have everything you need to put that plan into action. So you can put that plan into action. Again, PrometheanInvesting.com, Invest Like a Pro. The coupon code is PRO96. I'm going to run this sale from now through Tuesday. I'm going to be online a lot from now through Tuesday. First 1,000 people to buy the course, or Tuesday at midnight, I'm shutting it down. It's a 95% discount. It takes a $500 course, which I sell all day long at $500. It marks it down to $23. That's for any of you out there that think that you can't afford a proper financial plan. You can't afford a financial advisor. You'll get ignored by a financial advisor because you don't have enough in assets. All right? So that's fine. You don't have enough in assets. You don't need that much in assets. It's a $23 course. All right. So take a look at that. Let's get back to our story. So what's our story? Our story is about a very high-end executive at a pharmaceutical company in San Diego in 2007. So we've had three meetings now, right? It's April of 2008. I give him a final call. I say I see something big in the markets, and he doesn't listen to me. He doesn't listen to me. He knows better. He has direct access to the CEO. He understands the industry, so on and so forth. It's things that I hear all the time. I hear it today. Today, it's primarily the crypto crowd that's always telling me how much they know and what I don't understand. Not that that's a bad thing. It's a human response because you've been paying. It's the Roof Guy. Brandon, what's up, brother? Yes, I will send you a DM about the course. Thank you so much for asking, Brandon. I'll get you a DM off as soon as I go offline so you can get this course. This is something, by the way, everybody, Brandon is already making intelligent decisions. He's already a homeowner in North Carolina. And now he's trying to do the right thing. And he's looking to not take any shortcuts. And he's looking to, start getting a financial plan together and investing money and investing it in a knowledgeable way. It's what it's all about, educating yourself. Okay, thanks, Brandon. I'll get it off to you, brother. So the pharmaceutical guy rejects me when I talk to him in April. I warn him, AIG, biggest insurance company in the world. They filed for bankruptcy. This is huge. Something monstrous is coming. Proceeds to tell me he knows the industry, he knows the CEO, so on and so forth. So we head into September. You get that first crash in September. October is not, I wouldn't say mellow, but you get your next crash in November. And honestly, I hadn't thought about this gentleman. He didn't cross my mind. I mean, at that time, I am looking for the opening and closing of all Europe's markets. I am looking at U.S. markets. I'm talking to my clients. We are net short the market at that time, meaning we're making money as it's going down. I never go monstrously net short with clients' money, by the way. With my own, yes. With clients' money, no. But we were net short in that by the time we hit October, we were net short. So I didn't think about this guy again. So we get through March 9th is the bottom, everybody. And before March 9th, to give you an idea how vicious markets can be and why you have to have a financial plan, why it's essential that you have a financial plan. There was a day in January, and I know it was around my birthday. It was somewhere around January 10th. That's not my birthday, but it's close. It was somewhere around January 10th when the S&P rallied 16% in one day. And I remember all the talking heads on TV like going crazy about it. I hope you didn't miss this. I was getting calls from clients because I was net short. I was getting called, do we miss that? Are we taking part? Because the one thing that you're going to learn in finance is that most people are fearful and that a lot of people are greedy. And that's always, it doesn't matter that their accounts were up while the world was being slaughtered. They want to know if we get a piece of that 16%. So I told them all, mellow out. We're in a bear market. That was not the day. And we find out that's not the day because the day happened to be March 9th after the market fell another 30% from there or something. It was, it was brutal. It was brutal. So I go through that whole cycle and I'm finally starting in May or so of 2009. I'm starting to place some calls to some people that I was talking to a year ago. I had warned most of those people about what was coming. I let them know what I saw, what I thought was coming. And I start making some calls. And so I talked to the pharmaceutical guy, and it was obviously a disaster for him, an absolute disaster for him. And he had told me that, their accounts were down about 90%. Pharmaceuticals got absolutely crushed during that crash of 08 and 09. There's always sectors that are painfully hit, and there are companies that are also painfully hit, and he happened to be in both of those areas. Their 2.4 million between him and his wife was down to a little over 100,000, about 115,000 apiece. So they each had 1.2 million. They're down to about 115,000 each. And that's real. That's a true story. And so, I tell them I'm sorry, whatever. And I said, would you like to come in to get you restarted? I don't know if any of you, if you're old enough, if anyone's old enough here that's taken a devastating loss like that. But when you take a devastating loss like that, when you take a life hit like that, you're not going to jump on and talk with someone about your finances. It doesn't matter if it's smart. That's probably something that takes you a year or two to get over. And maybe you never get over it. I don't know. But this I do know. I never reach back out because when you take a loss like that, the next three people you work with are going to pay for your mistake because you're going to blame everybody but yourself for losing 90% of your own money. You are going to. You're going to blame everybody under the sun. They did it. It was their fault. This person should have known. That person should have known. But I can tell you in this example, he did have somebody who, Brandon, I would cry too. Brandon, cry. Cry is not even the word for what you do when your account goes from 1.2 to 115,000. And here's Brandon, check this out. This is worse. This is worse, Brandon. I talked to that guy in like 2013, 2014, because he popped up on my LinkedIn. So we're attached on LinkedIn. So he pops up and hey, how's everything going? Blah, 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 blah. His wife divorced him, moved back to Great Britain, and he was working at a startup in Northern California. I mean, his life literally torched, up in flames, absolutely torched. And the reason that right now I'm talking about the biggest financial mistakes I saw in 25 years is the shifty wife. I know the only thing I can say about that, Brandon, the shifty wife, the only thing I can say about that comment is that when she wanted to do it, she wanted to sign everything over. I was sitting there. I can tell you, she wanted to sign it over. She knew it was too much risk. She was telling him in front of me, and he was going, "No, we're not doing that." Blah, 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 blah. And so I can just say this. Had she been sitting there by herself, that wouldn't have happened to her. But it happened to her too because he was so adamant on keeping it. That's all I can say. Now, you're a husband and wife, and you're supposed to be together through, thick and thin, and you're supposed to discuss everything. You're supposed to come to this mutual decision. But as a guy who has been married for 24 years, I can tell you that it doesn't always go that way. And in most marriages, even though they'll claim it does, it doesn't go that way. There usually is somebody who kind of has more of a heavy hand, and perhaps it was him. Perhaps it wasn't. I'm not here to judge that. I can just tell you that, yeah, she left. She went back to Great Britain, divorced him. He's at some startup in Northern California, and he was no young. He was no spring chicken, brother. That guy was already 56, 57 years old when that happened. So, I don't, in that situation, I don't know that I don't know that you recover. I don't know how you recover from that. You probably never get back to where you were. But the one thing that is true is you've altered your life forever. You have altered your destination forever. And that's what I want people to avoid. That's why I'm here, right? So, Brandon, my course, I'm going to DM you, but my course, if you go to prometheaninvesting.com, it's in my profile, Brandon, prometheaninvesting.com. If you go to the site and then you go to the Invest Like a Pro course, hit buy now. The coupon code is PRO96. That will discount it from $500 to $23. So prometheaninvesting.com, it's in my profile. Go there, then go to my Investing Like a Pro course, hit buy now, coupon code PRO96 is $23, brother. $23. Okay, so that is from an individual standpoint. I would say that story and the story that I told earlier, if you missed it, you should go back and rewatch, or I'll get some videos up of it. And I'm going to be doing this discount from now through Tuesday at midnight. First 1,000 people to buy the course, or it's going to be Tuesday at midnight. So if 1,000 people buy it first, that will be the cutoff. If Tuesday at midnight comes and I don't hit 1,000 people, then I'm shutting it down Tuesday at midnight for sure. That's the Invest Like a Pro course for any of you guys watching me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube Live. There is the QR code that'll take you straight there. Coupon code PRO96. I told a story earlier, Brandon, if I see you're still there, of a couple that inherited $3.2 million. They had about $200,000 in their IRAs. They had 2 hotels outside of Vegas, and they inherited $3.2. They spent the $3.2 in 15 months, and they actually accumulated over $1 million in debt. That story and the story of the pharmaceutical executive are the most horrific, gut-churning stories that I have to tell anyone. So I think that's good for this live. So what I'm going to come back and I'm going to do next, like the live. Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate the likes, brother. Let me get some love out there if anybody, if nobody minds. A little love doesn't hurt anybody. It makes everybody feel good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little 15-minute break, and I am going to come back. And what I'm going to talk about next is my most horrific mistake that has ever been made while being a financial advisor and an investment advisor. Brandon, my man. I appreciate you. I'm dead serious. I appreciate you. It feels good to have someone listening and really be into it. It really does, man. So thanks a lot. I appreciate that. I really, really do. So I'm going to come back and share with you my most horrific tale, the biggest mistakes I made, where I went wrong. Most of them are as a newbie, and I can tell you, I almost ended my career before it really started. So I will, I'll be back probably 15, 20 minutes, and I'll tell that story. Brandon, you're the man, brother. I enjoy having you. Thanks for the compliment. I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate you saying I'm a great speaker, and I hope the knowledge is awesome as well. And I will see you all shortly.